So I'm going to call this meeting to order. Is it recording on? Okay. This is a, let's see.
Recording in progress.
Okay. The Zoom chat will not be monitored. Participants who wish to speak must raise the hand icon until the chair asks them to unmute. I don't see any microphones. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Must raise their hand icon until the chair asks them to unmute. Note this meeting is being televised and recorded by Bourne Community TV for replay. If anyone in the audience is also recording or videotaping, they need to acknowledge at such time. You may do that, but you do need to acknowledge. Let's see, we have the usual 50, 60 people here. I don't see anybody raising their hand. Okay. All items within the meeting agenda are subject to deliberation and votes by the Board of Health. Okay. The first order of business is attendance. Oh, and please turn off your cell phones. Let's see. I see Barbara is on Zoom. Can you hear us, Barbara? Barbara? Hello? Barbara? Barbara?
Barbara, can you hear Bill? Okay, no, I don't.
Can you hear us?
Try again?
Can you hear us?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, you're here, right? Okay.
Yes.
Let's see, Bobby Collette?
Yeah.
John Moody is here. I'm here, Bill Doherty. Okay, the first order of business is 26 Massasoit Avenue. Michael Briselli, professional engineer, Falmouth Engineering, on behalf of the owner, Karen West, requesting variances from CT 310 CMR 15.405 and Board of Health 150 setback regulations for the installation of a tight tank. And you're here.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, for the record, Mike Borselli, Falmouth Engineering, and I represent the applicant.
Okay.
I represent the applicant Karen West at number 26 Massasoit Avenue, and this property at Massasoit Avenue has applied for permission to install a tight tank in accordance with Title V requirements. There is an existing failing septic system on site that is actually a cesspool. It is less than 75 feet from the edge of a salt marsh. It is very close to, if not within, the water table, and it has been deemed to be in a state of failure. In my previous conversations with the health agent several months ago, we talked about options, and there's a trend on this stretch of Massasoit for tight tank installations. It seems to be the best feasible alternative to, as opposed to asking permission for numerous variances from setbacks and separation from water table and or possibly mounted septic systems. So since this was determined to be the best feasible alternative, we've submitted the application for the tight tank, so there'll be zero discharge to the ground. The tank has been sized in accordance with the requirements of Title V, which are 5 times the minimum of 5 times the total daily flow. So there's 330 gallons per day, 3-bedroom house. Minimum of 5 times the total daily flow, or 2,000 gallons, whichever is greater. So 2,000 gallons is slightly more than 5 times the total daily flow. So the tank is proposed to be a 2,000 gallon tank. It'll connect to the existing plumbing. It'll be installed as far as practical from the wetland resources as possible. In this case, 83 feet from the salt marsh, but there's zero discharge, so there's no potential impact to the salt marsh. We, previous to coming to this board, went to the Conservation Commission, and they voted to approve the tight tank as being the best environmental solution. I think that sums it up. I'm happy to take questions.
Okay, Scott was a health agent, do you have any comment?
So this system was originally with us in 2022 after failure to upgrade for 2 years. At that time, the applicant's engineer had proposed an alternative system, and at that time, the board had requested them to come back with a tight tank instead. The homeowner had ended up changing engineers after not getting along with hers, and that's why Mike is here today.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
So do you concur that this is the best possible alternative?
This street,
Feasible.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Every system's basically in groundwater out there, so tight tanks.
Don, do you have any questions? And I don't. So I would entertain a motion. Oh, Barbara, do you have any questions? Sorry.
No, I don't, and I'm happy to see that they actually came back and did a tight tank, so thank you.
Okay.
No, I think it's a great idea, thank you.
Okay. All right, so with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'm happy to make a motion to approve 26 Massasoit Ave, requesting variances from 310 CMR 15.405 and Bourne Board of Health 150-foot setback regulations for the installation of a tight tank.
Is there a second? Is there a second? We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none,
No.
I'll entertain a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Or by roll call, sorry. Barbara?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
Yes.
Bobby? And myself, yes. Okay, we're done.
Thank you very much.
Next item is a continuation. You all should have the information from the last meeting. At 150 is it Tahanto?
Yeah.
The Tahanto Road. It's continued from last time. I believe the continuance was granted because there needed to be an appearance before the Conservation Commission? Conservation Commission.
Yes, yep.
All right, so Glenn Harrington, RS of Geo Cape Environmental Consultants, on behalf of the owners Henry and Diane Solser, requesting variances from 310 CMR 15.405 for the installation of an upgraded septic system. Variance requested include a 10-foot reduction from the required 10-foot setback from the SAS to the property lines at Tahanto Road, a 3-foot reduction from the required 10-foot setback from the SAS to the property line of 18 Wheat Telmo Road, a foot reduction from the required 10-foot between the pump chamber and the property line of Pocahontas Road, a 5-foot reduction from the required 25 feet between an SAS and a leaching catch basin, and a waiver to place the proposed septic tank and pump chamber within the required 10-foot from the existing water line. Is there somebody here for the, okay?
Glenn Harrington representing the property, and Brett Ellis, who is the contractor for Done Right Excavation, who is going to do the work. The design plan was prepared because the existing septic system has failed. It's an existing 1,000-gallon tank to a leach pit, and the proposed system is a 1,500-gallon septic tank to a 1,000-gallon pump chamber that pumps up to 3-hole distribution box and 2 trenches with 2 500-gallon chambers. The variances are necessary because this is a 5,000 square foot property with a sizable house. It is a 4-bedroom seasonally used dwelling. The setbacks, the 0-foot setback is for one of the leaching trenches is necessary to, because it's the only area where the leaching can fit and get enough leaching for a 4-bedroom. This has been through conservation. Conservation has approved, and you've listed the variances already, so I won't go through them again. But.
Okay, does the health agent have anything?
Yeah, so voluntary upgrade of a failed system. It says they propose maximum feasible compliance with Title V and local regulations. They're not asking for any setback variances from resource areas, just the lot lines, which is why the board hearing was required today. No proposed work on the home. Everything is existing as is. And yeah, positive determination from Concom last week.
Yeah. The property's in a floodplain, that's why I went to conservation.
from the board? Gordon, John, Barbara?
Yeah, I have a question for you on, why are you calling it a seasonally used dwelling? How are you defining their use as seasonal?
Just as far as the owners weren't there over the winter time, and that's how it was explained to me from the contractor.
By whom? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, I apologize.
From the contractor who I'm working for, said that it was a seasonally used house.
Okay, because they weren't there for the winter, or because they only use it less than 6 months of the year?
That's how it was explained to me, as it was a seasonally used home.
Okay, so I would recommend that you actually find out what our definition of seasonal is prior to, because it's not just not using it over the winter, but I was just curious on that, on how you were defining that. And then, is there anything, like the nitrogen loading is really high? Caitlin, do you have any ideas, or like, is there anything we can do, like in form of alternative to reduce the nitrogen loading? I know it's voluntary, but 22 ppm is really high.
It is high. Proposing conventional systems to replace an existing failed when there's no work done and there's no
Yeah.
board requirements for it right now and no DEP requirements for it right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they're not voluntarily adding that, then,
Okay, and they're not doing any work, you said, on the home?
correct, yeah, there's no proposed work on this.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Are there any other questions?
No, I don't have any, thank you.
Okay. Hearing no other question, I'll entertain a motion to approve. Is there such a motion?
I'll move to approve the proposed variances for 150 Tohoto Road as presented by Mr. Harrington, GeoCape Environmental Consultants, on behalf of owners Henry and Diane Stelzer.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to approve. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Barbara?
Aye.
Ron? Bobby?
Aye.
And myself. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is a public hearing amending the Board of Health private well regulations pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 111, numbers 31 and 310 CMR 11.02, and incorporate February 2023 updates from SDEP Drinking Water Program Model, Board of Health Regulations for Private Well and Private Well Guidelines, and this is continued, and this is the hearing for April 27th. I believe that Barbara had some questions last time. Are the responses satisfy what you were looking for?
Yeah, I think they're fine. I don't have any other questions about those.
Okay, and are there any other questions from board members? Okay, with the public, since this is a hearing, are there any questions from the public? Okay, well, try to keep the noise down in the booth. So let's see. All right. So that being the case, we have to go through. Let's see. Once we vote, there has to be something put in the paper, right?
Yes.
Okay. And now, what's the, so that we'll all know, what is the effect of after our vote and it goes in the paper? Once it goes in the paper, after a certain period of time, does it have to come back for another vote?
No.
Okay, all right. So at this point, I'll entertain a motion to approve approve the next step in the process, that we approve this change in the regulation. So is there such a motion?
Make a motion to approve this change in regulation.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Barbara?
Aye.
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 Bobby? Myself. Okay, that takes care of that. Okay, the next item on the agenda is, let's see, a public hearing amending the Bourne Board of Health body art regulations pursuant to Mass General Chapter 111, 31, and 310 CMR 11.02 to incorporate the March 2024 updates from the National Environmental Health Association Body Art Model Code BAMC. And this has to do with personal ink, I guess.
Yes,
Now, who inspects the tattoo parlors?
our office.
Okay. And have we seen any evidence of what I call variation or things that would put an individual at risk?
Our currently open body art establishments are very clean, very organized, and I've had no issues with them.
Okay, and what is the reason? This is just to meet a
So-
national standard?
So this is to incorporate updates to national standards and to incorporate an actual policy on apprenticeship, which we didn't have before, and also, it's not temporary, but temporary body art practitioners who work in other places could potentially take out a temporary license to work in an establishment in Bourne versus paying for an annual license with us. Our apprentices right now just work under the guidance of the master technician, and they usually last like a year, and then once they have the required time frame and certifications, they can apply for an actual license. This apprenticeship outline here would give them more of a detailed curriculum that they'll follow, and an amount of hours that they have to be supervised by the master technician before becoming a licensed body art technician in the town of Bourne, and like a checklist that they would have their supervisor sign off that they completed all these tasks that would be delivered to us.
And how is this monitored by the health department?
How is this what?
How is this monitored by the health department?
So they all apply for licenses through us annually, so we see them, and also upon inspection, we see them.
And does the public know, if there is an issue, does the public know that they can go to the health department to make these known?
Yes.
Okay. And do they post anything in their establishment telling the public this?
Yep, they have postings about the Board of Health, the health department, and all their licensures and who they report to, and phone numbers as well.
Okay. So, once we vote on this, does this also require a second hearing?
No, if there's anything that you want to add or make note of, I did have some notes in the columns on a couple places. On page 9, the regarding apprenticeship, there's a apprenticeship training must consist of the following. Apprenticeship must be at least 1 year, but shall not last longer than a blank amount of years. I used Plymouth's regulations. They have a maximum of 2 years to complete your apprenticeship, so that's an option, or you could choose your own. And it would include a minimum of this number of hours of direct observation. Plymouth also uses 1,000 over those 2 years. And then again,
1,000 hours is, let's see, there are 2,080 hours in a work year, so 1,000 hours means
over
6
2 years.
months.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, if you're not working every day as an apprentice, you could potentially do that pretty easily.
Okay.
And then for the master practitioner, a master practitioner shall have a minimum of blank years of experience in the field before they plan on teaching. Plymouth uses 5. And then a master practitioner shall not have more than blank active apprentices at one time.
Mhm.
Plymouth uses 1. I'm comfortable between 1 and 3. We have, especially because the hours are so minimal over that span of time that they don't have to schedule them every day together. So if you guys have a preference on how many apprentices one person can have. I think that was my only 2 comments on the sides here. Yeah, nothing else.
Okay, does anybody from the board have a question?
No, so Kate, you're suggesting those amendments to the BAMC?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, all right, I was gonna ask if you had any other, suggestions or any other recommendations to add, I assume that the BAMC is a minimum standard.
Yes. Mm-hmm. There's no state got regulations for body art. It is all just model codes that we can adopt on our own,
Right.
to be more stringent in these cases, in which we have done.
Yeah.
So. Mhm.
So do we have to determine how many apprentices we should allow?
Yes.
Don, you have, Barbara?
we want to kind of split the difference and say 2, or like, are we comfortable with 3? I really don't have any real strong preference, so I'm fine with 1, 2, or 3.
Okay.
I like that Caitlin did the research on the other town. I don't know how many towns are with that, Kate, but it's good to see that you did that. We want to be consistent, so somebody just doesn't go to the next town over to get something easier than us.
Is there any member,
But yeah,
is there any member of the public that have any comment? Okay, hearing none.
Well, do we have to make?
We
I
have some
agree.
numbers here,
I
yeah.
agree with Barbara, and I think 2, from a quality control standpoint,
Sounds-
sounds reasonable.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Is there anybody from the public that has any questions? Okay, all right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the amendments.
I make the motion, we approve amending the Bourne Board of Health body art regulation.
Is there a second?
second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor by Barbara?
Yes.
Aye.
Bobby? And myself, yes, okay. Next item is a public hearing on amending the Bourne Board of Health hotel, motel, and guest cabin regulations pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 111, Part 31, and 310 CMR 11.02 to incorporate the May 2023 updates to the Housing Code 105 CMR 410.000 minimum standards of fitness for human habitation, State Sanitary Code, Chapter 2. And as we start on this, I recall one of the concerns that I personally had about how many, we have a regulation on our books that says you can't stay more than 3 weeks in a motel. And I've been very concerned that that is understood by the public to be looking out for their welfare, because living more than 3 weeks in a motel, which does not have what I would call even the minimum standards with regard to emergency shelter, no stove, no refrigeration, that these amendments would incorporate that. Do they, so I'll ask you, do they incorporate what I call a minimum standard for health and safety for people who are visiting as guests in a motel, but not expected to use it as a permanent residence?
So it's regular guest units, as we described in our regulations, are not to be occupied for more than 3 weeks. There are verifiable business travels that may be exempt from this occupancy time frame, which has to be approved by our office or the Board of Health, depending on how long they're requesting. Efficiency units is 90 calendar days, and that's because they have more livable options. They have not stovetops, but they have a microwave, they have a fridge, that type of thing. And to make it more habitable for the person, again, if you're gonna extend past that time frame, you need to have verifiable reasons and approved by the Health Department and the Board of Health.
What is the summary of this?
So the changes to this are strictly to bring it into compliance with the minimum standards of fitness for human habitation, because their code citations changed. So the.
You need to take that call? Leave the room.
The housing code changed last year,
Mhm.
and with that, code citations all changed. So to make our regulation match the housing code, I had to change citations. I've also redlined things that just were not redlined in the last amendment, and changed some wording on guests versus motorists within there to make it more applicable to today's standards.
Okay. Well, as I say, my personal concern is that a house that is habitable for permanent, that is useful for permanent habitation, have minimum, have an ability to cook, to clean, and to, let's say, to evacuate human waste, so that it's safe and sanitary. Okay. Does any of the board have any questions? Don?
So How do you handle transit people come here like to work for a month,
Yep.
like stay in a motel?
So
It's over
the,
to 21 days.
yep, the manager or owner of that hotel, when they get that request from either a worker or the actual company that's putting them up, they would reach out to our office and then write to us in a written format, whether that's email or a letter, their request, and then it is granted for a certain amount of time. And then we do let them know that we will still do inspections of that room if we are to be on site during their stay, and that if they're gonna stay longer than, a certain amount of time, perhaps they do move rooms in the interim, so that way they're not creating substantial filth as they're staying there for long periods of time. That's gonna take longer to clean up.
I believe the regulation says you can get, gain one exception for an additional 3 weeks.
Yes.
Okay, but
Mhm.
that's the maximum.
Yep, and they have to give us the time frame and give them their full stay, when they're gonna be there, who's staying there, all that.
All right. Barbara, do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any, thank you.
Don? Okay, then I'll entertain a motion to approve this. Is there such a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve, the, Bourne Board of Health, hotel, motel, and guest cabin regulation changes as presented.
Is there a second to the motion? There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Bobby?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Barbara?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is review and possible vote on the amended draft Board of Health agenda procedures, continued also from last meeting. I believe you all have had a copy of that. We'll start with you, Caitlin.
So this was just to amend some of the changes that we talked about at the last meeting, so if you guys are happy with how that came out, that's the end of it, yeah.
Barbara, do you have any questions on the agenda issues?
No, Caitlin, I do appreciate you making the changes, and I see that you're already doing them in this agenda, so thank you. I appreciate it.
Ron? Bobby? Okay. Having no questions, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make
Go
Go ahead.
ahead, Don. Go ahead, Don.
He's got to go out in a blaze of glory here. So you're making a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Okay. Was there any comments from okay. I should have asked before that. I'm sorry about that.
I'm sorry, I answered phone for 3 police departments, so this other one, I turned it down, the other one I thought was off, but I apologize for that.
Apology accepted.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll take a vote to approve. All those in favor? Barbara?
Aye.
John? Bobby?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Okay, thank you. And let's see, the health agent's report.
Oh, public comment first on non-agenda items?
Oh, I'm sorry, that's down the bottom of the page. I need another set of these dollar readers. Okay, is there public comment?
We're good.
You've been so patient, I figure you must be waiting to say something.
We're soaking it in,
Hmm?
soaking it in.
Oh,
These are
great,
the
great.
new owners of one of our hotels.
Oh, which
So
one?
they're-
Herring Run Motel, these are the new owners, Pookie and Mia.
Oh, well, welcome to the community and good luck. You know, buona fortuna, you know, all of that stuff. You know, the optimism that we all have in the beginning of a business, we hope is maintained by the rewards you get from the customers coming in, right?
Absolutely.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
And for showing your faith in our community.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's see, any other public comment? No? I'll take this opportunity in public comment to thank my board members and staff for the great support that they've given me during my time and tenure here. I will say that it's made my life very easy because I knew I could depend upon staff to get stuff done, and I knew I could depend upon my board members to show up. And we have never missed a meeting since I've been chair, so I believe that I'm so delighted about that, you can't believe, because that's always been an issue, going forward. And I want to say thank you to Dawn, who was given 15 years to this outfit. And I think the public should know that, and I think it's a wonderful thing that they've done that. And since this is in public comment, do we have any communications from
We
the
do.
upper part of government?
We have a lovely citation for Dawn from the select board.
Oh,
The select board resolution of commendation.
wow.
Whereas Donald Beauty, a proud veteran of the United States Air Force, has served with distinction on the Board of Health for the past 15 years. And whereas his dedication, expertise, and unwavering commitment have been instrumental in improving the well-being of our community. And stationed at the Otis Air National Guard base, Donald met his wife Judy, a testament to the enduring support system he shares with his spouse of 62 years. Judy's presence at many Board of Health meetings alongside Donald exemplifies their commitment to serving the community, even if she is not formally a member. And whereas Don brought his unique skills and experience to the Board of Health, not only honed through his service, but also from his background as a construction worker, this combination of dedication and practical knowledge made him a valuable asset. And whereas Donald's commitments to his community extended beyond the Board of Health, he is a pillar of the veteran community, regularly attending the Veterans Breakfast at the community center. His dedication to ensuring inclusivity and further evidenced by his service to the Commission of Disabilities. And whereas Donald has been a pillar of the community and a key member of the Board of Health, assisting in handling numerous variance and waiver requests, addressing non-compliance issues, and contributing to the development and amendment of local regulations. Now, therefore, the town of Bourne, in recognition of his leadership and service, does hereby commend Donald Udy for his service of the Board of Health. We are deeply grateful for his exceptional commitment, and his dedication has made a significant difference in the lives of countless residents. Thank you, Don.
And by the way, Vincent de Paul has 3 frames you can get,
Thank you so much.
Oh, now you have an opportunity to respond if you wish.
Thank you very much.
I like your style, Jim. I'm glad you're on the team. And since your wife is in the audience, we want to thank her because I know, having been in public life for a while, that was the big thing. If my wife wasn't on my, supporting me, I don't think I'd be able to make it. But I will say that when I remember when I got elected, to the county commission, and I told her that we got health insurance, she said, "If I'd known that, I would have campaigned for you." But that's a story from another life. Okay.
I'd like to make one comment. When we get our weekly agendas, and I go pick it up usually Tuesday morning, Judy and I together go review each property. So I have a first and secretary with me.
All right.
Helps you make all the good notes.
Well, now all that aside, now back to business.
Back to business.
Okay, health agent report.
I have nothing new to report today.
Okay. And comments from the board with regard to future agenda items. Barbara?
I don't have any this evening, thank you.
Okay.
I don't have
No?
And certainly, I don't. Okay. Okay, and let's see, we have minutes to approve. We have 3 sets of minutes, I believe. And I'll vote on one at a time. The first set of minutes is March 13th, 2024. If all of you had a chance to read them? Okay.
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve the minutes of the March 13th meeting.
Second.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Hearing none?
No.
Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, excuse me, is there any no further discussion? No further discussion, all those in favor of the minutes of March 13th,
Aye.
2024, Dawn, Barbara,
Yes.
Bobby,
Aye.
and myself, aye. Okay, the next set of minutes are March 27th. Minutes, are there any amendments suggested on March 27th?
Motion to approve.
John makes a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Barbara?
Aye.
John? Bobby?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Okay, the next, see, one more. We approved the minutes of April 10th, I believe, at a different meeting. Okay, so this is the last meeting we had was April 24th. Okay, any suggested amendments or changes? Okay, hearing none. Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Don, is there a second?
I'll abstain, I wasn't here for that.
Oh, that's right, okay. Barbara?
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Dawn, Barbara?
Aye.
Okay, myself, and then you're abstaining. Okay. So with that takes care of the minutes. And
Don, this one's all you. Number 12 is all you.
well,
When I was banged on.
we're actually at the end of all of this wonderfulness.
Yeah.
And what is the next motion that we have to hear?
Adjourn.
Come on, Don.
Come on, Don.
Make motion to adjourn.
Yeah.
John makes a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Hearing none.
No.
Barbara,
Aye.
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Bobby, and myself. We're done.
Beautiful.
36 minutes.
Thank you.